Well, the World Economic Forum has finally admitted what we've been saying here on the show. The US dollar is about to change forever. That's right. We knew that CBDCs were rolling out central bank digital currencies, but this week we heard directly from Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum that in fact 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs. Again, this right from the mouth of the World Economic Forum. After all, this is their plan. They've wanted to take away control of the monetary system, get it out of the hands of individual sovereign governments, individuals, and put it in the hands of Wall Street and sort of and larger banks. Now, when you have to understand the central bank structure in the United States, it's controlled by Wall Street. This is the goal, is to allow those big multinationals to control the money supply, get it out of the hands of the U.S. Treasury. Take that power away from Janet Yellen in the U.S. Treasury. Take it away from individual governments. Put it in the hands of a few massively large banks. And this all comes on the same week that we also saw more bank collapses in the United States, more seizures of banks, and massive amounts of U.S. deposits drying up in banks. See how this happens? All of these smaller banks get gobbled up by the big guys. So the J.P. Morgans, you have the Wells Fargos, Bank of America, you have Deutsche Bank, and these few massive large banks control the entire process. So let's go through what the World Economic Forum is saying here, which is startling, but we knew this was coming. So get ready, guys, to have like no cash anymore. Get ready to have a digital ID, a digital wallet that will control everything. Now, I know some of you might be saying, that's fake news. Well, frankly, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been studying and tracking this for a very long time. I point you to my deep dive interviews here with Whitney Webb, who's one of the foremost authorities on tracking all of the structure of these CBDCs. And it's startling. The control is coming, guys. I mean, think about their ability to track everything you're doing through a digital ID on your phone. Okay? They'll be able to watch your carbon footprint. Oh, you've traveled too much this month. So no, you are not allowed to buy gasoline anymore for this month until the calendar resets for the month because you've driven to see grandma too many times, or you've been on the road too much, or you've flown too much, or you've bought too much meat, right? This is the ridiculousness that we're currently facing right now. But they'll be able to track every transaction. And of course, they want everything then tied to the blockchain. This is the tokenization of every asset, farmland, everything in the United States. So they will be controlling everything and watching everything. It is coming. This is the dream. Now, they've already rolled this out in Ukraine. You remember, Ukraine is really a testing ground for a lot of this. They rolled this out using what's known as the DIA app. Okay, DIA was an app that was built by USAID, USAID, and the United States government, and of course with the help of the World Economic Forum, to put this into a test bed process where everything can pay right with your phone in Ukraine, track everything. You can even rat on your neighbors. That's right, built inside the application. This is like 1984 level stuff here, guys. And we don't know how all of this is going to come together, but we do know the goal. The goal is total control. The goal is to get rid of cash. The goal is to make sure that every transaction is monitored and controlled through a central system that is all digital. So the organization that argues that wholesale CBDCs, which are restricted to large transactions between financial institutions, could address banking industry challenges related to interbank payments and securities transactions. So according to the World Economic Forum, they say that CBDCs are poised to improve our cross-border transactions. Of course, that's how they're pitching it, right? That, the amount of time that it takes for wires to happen, and I agree with this. I will agree that the process of sending wires right now is a disaster. It's like 7 or 8 different steps to confirm you're sending a transaction, then it's sending an information back, then it's going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So cross-border transactions should be dramatically improved. But is this the answer? Where we remove cash and we put it instead in the control of central banks so that we don't have a physical representation of currency anymore. We simply have a digital representation of some sort of an international world currency. The organization, the WEF, acknowledges, however, that the legal and the regulatory elements needed to make widespread CBDCs possible have an unknown time frame. So again, 98% of central banks are preparing to launch this, but you have certain states in the United States which are pushing back against this. I mean, you have Florida, for instance, saying no CBDCs, and you're going to have other countries that are going to say no to this. So I think we're really heading for an interesting moment right now with our monetary policy and entering this next phase. But we've been warning you it's coming, and here we